Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Spin It Social Hour. My name is Stefan Kaplan, and it is an absolute pleasure to be here with you on another Saturday morning. It is a beautiful day outside, and we are going to kick off this hour with a great photographer that we're bringing on today. So I am a social media and visual strategist, and it is fantastic to be here every week to be able to bring some of the best photographers around the world on my show to introduce them to you and let you learn more about their lives and their work. Because when this pandemic hit, I decided that I was going to do everything I could to help get their name out there more so that when this horrible pandemic alleviates a bit, that we will be able to, you will know more about them and be able to contact them and hopefully give them more work. I am a social media visual strategist, as I said, and a former New York Times photo editor for 15 years. I've worked with the likes of the Pulitzer Prizes, AARP, the Jackson Charitable Foundation, and I'm an adjunct professor at FIT. And one of the big honors I have always is working with Sri Srinivasan and his DigiMentors group as a freelancer doing productions of live streams around the world. Anyway, so today we are going to bring on Bill Wadman. He is just amazing. But first, a quick word from my sponsor, Real Talk, live from the barn. Real Talk, live from the barn, a show revolving around all issues relating to COVID-19, from the economy to race. We will be back with a new show very soon, which is in production. So to get to Bill Wadman today, let me give him the build-up that he deserves with a beautiful slideshow of his work. As always, I curate the slideshows every week for everybody to see. It's a pleasure, after being a photo editor so long, to be back in the game doing that every week. And we've been doing it for 30 weeks now. This is the 30th show. I am amazed. So let's get started. Here we go. Bill Wadman is an American portrait photographer living in Brooklyn, New York. His images have been seen on the covers and pages of major publications throughout the world. In 2007, Bill launched his career by completing 365portraits.com, a daily project which won him praise from USA Today, The Times of London, and Playboy. Bill's long exposure motion project has been featured in Popular Photography and numerous magazines, as well as the Huffington Post. In 2013, Adobe Masterclass Photoshop, the book, featured a chapter on Bill's work, including a walkthrough of his compositing and post-production workflow. His conceptual portrait work has been shown throughout the US and Canada. After a degree from Berklee College of Music and a career as an art director in the world of New York City advertising, Bill rediscovered photography and figured out what he wanted to do with his life. Equally at home with connecting with subjects behind the camera and perfecting their image in front of a computer, Bill's technical skills are more than matched by his natural eye for what makes a great photograph. Bill is interested in just about every subject, prefers to paint his own backgrounds, build his own Macs, and perhaps most ironically, does not like getting his picture taken as a general rule of thumb. Everyone, please help me welcome my guest today, Bill Wadman.
How you doing, Stefan?
How are you, man?
I'm good. Yeah, it is true that I don't like being on this side of the camera, so this is fun.
You know what? And that's why it's so great having you here, because I know, it's not everybody's thing all the time. A lot of us enjoy, as photographers and artistic people, being behind the scenes.
Sure. I mean, I love talking about it, on camera. That's a whole other thing. But yeah, it's great.
But you have a lot of experience dealing with podcasting.
Oh, sure.
Somebody just chimed in and says, I have a horrible echo. Well, that's interesting. So let's see if we can quickly solve that technical problem. Hold on one second. I'm going to reload. 1 second.
Let's see.
How is it now, everybody? Let me know, please. Sorry for that. Bill, are you okay?
I'm fine.
Okay, so I do not understand the echo part, but let's maybe I'm talking too loud this morning. Let's try not to. Okay, two people just said they don't hear it.
Great.
Okay, so there's always some that do, some that don't. We'll do our best here.
It's all good.
Okay, so tell me once again, Bill. I'm sorry, I rudely interrupted you trying to fix that technical problem. You have experience in podcasting.
Yeah, I've done a lot of podcasting. I mean, I'm probably best known for the show on Taking Pictures that Jeffrey Sidoris and I did for 325 episodes, weeks straight. So, but yeah, so I mean, I'm fine being on mic and talking about stuff. In fact, you know, time anybody asks me to talk about my photos, I'm fine with it. It's like talking about my kids or something, you know. It's like you're not talking about me, you're talking about. It's like I'm proud of my kids. Sure, look at my, you know.
Right.
So yeah, happy to do it.
Well, I thought, oh, see, you taught me something. I do my research heavily too, and all my photographers know that. But I thought you only have one. You have multiple kids.
No kids at all.
Oh, you have no kids?
No, I have my photographs.
Oh, okay, then I'm totally mistaken.
Yeah, totally.
You have guinea pigs.
Yeah, exactly.
I have guinea pigs. Anyway, you know what? It's always good to start off with a laugh. This has been a grueling pandemic on so many people here. Oh, Rick Friedman's in the house. One of the great photographers out there, future guest. Rick,
Very
welcome.
cool.
Thank you for the no echo here. Thumbs up. Okay, we're rolling. We're cooking with gas, as my grandfather used to say. So I was going to bring into the picture, pardon the pun. Where was I going with that? Oh, okay. So you have done so much work, from portrait photography to conceptual work and everything else. But we had a discussion the other day, and it was kind of mind-boggling to me that many people that, you know, you've probably worked in with life, and no specifics here,
Sure,
have always, you know, asked you to do mainly portraits more than conceptual work, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think professionally, I'm more known for the straight portrait work than the conceptual stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Although I enjoy doing the conceptual stuff and do it for artistic purposes,
Right.
And occasionally client work, but most of my client work ends up being straight portraits. Yeah.
Right. Well, I want to bring up a bunch of those right now, and
Sure.
so we can have a wonderful show here and bring a lot of them up. And there we go. Let me tell you, man, putting together that slideshow every week is one of the highlights of my life, and yours in particular this week, because your portraits are stunning, and you bring out the best in people, I have to say.
It's interesting whenever I see somebody who's gone through my work and has pulled, you know, what they like, especially somebody like you who's been a photo editor. You did a much better job than some people do choosing the stuff that I would choose myself. Because a lot of times people pull stuff and I go, really? That's the one that they like? You know? But no, I agree with all but one of the ones that you pulled. So that's
And which one was that? Please let me know.
I'm not going to say because I don't want, I'll tell you off mic.
Okay, you'll tell me off.
In case the subject happens to be watching, right?
You know what? That's a very good point. I just hope it's not Nicks with chicks.
No. Nick with the chicken is one of my favorites.
And by the way, a disclaimer here: Nicks with chicks is not what you think it may be.
No, not at all.
It is our friend Nick Curry, who was my very first guest on the Spin It Social. Nick, shout out to you, Nick Curry, Coury. Look him up in Monterey. Actually,
Yep.
Hope everything's well out there. Dealing with more fires. God bless everyone out there. Don't know how you've been dealing with all that. We are in your corner. But Nick is a great photographer who raises chickens.
Absolutely. And in fact, that's not one of his chickens. That's a chicken here in Brooklyn that I had to find. He was going to be in town. I said, Nick, we got to shoot you with a chicken. And so I put out a call on Facebook and said, does anybody know anybody in Brooklyn with chickens? And you'd be surprised. I think I got 4 or 5 people who came back saying, yeah, I have a chicken. My neighbor has a chicken in this neighborhood, in that neighborhood. And that chicken ended up falling asleep. I actually had to replace its eye in that picture because in that picture he fell asleep and he had actually closed his eyelid. Yeah.
The chicken did.
Yeah, the chicken did.
Oh, wait,
Nick's that good with chickens.
A chicken fell asleep on a camera, on a photo shoot. Now that's something you have to write in a caption when you have that photo in a book.
Yeah, I have to do that next time.
Anyway, let's that's great. Here's to the organic farmers and people who have chickens in Brooklyn, New York. Shout out to you guys.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
anyway, but I love, like I said, your portrait work, your conceptual work. This photo I used as promotion for the show this week
Yep.
because it just grabbed me. First of all, she's absolutely stunning.
She's a striking woman, yes.
Second of all, it's just the look, and that is that the portraits are windows to the soul, and they're not taken by the photographer all the time, as a famous quote goes, and I can't remember the exact words right now, but they're given to you by the subject.
Yeah, I mean, in a case like this, you have two things going for you. One, you have a stunning subject because Marin's beautiful.
Right.
This was in her apartment, and she just happened to have a blue wall. In fact, I think that is might be just window light.
Oh, okay.
Turn the right way and you have a good solid background and it feels like a more studio thing. And in reality, it's just her against the wall.
Sorry, I'm laughing because people are chiming in. Charles,
about the chickens. Yeah.
Charles Chesler chimed in. He's a great photographer in New York here. Check him out, everybody. Yeah. Chicken Sleeps in Brooklyn. He's got a title for your book. Anyway, Charles is a great guy, so check him out, everybody. But, let's roll through the work, man, because I know we have a tight hour.
For it.
I went digging for you, man, because your website, everybody will check it out. We're going to show it all show long, but I went digging for some other stuff, which I always do for my photographers that I have on the show. I always call you guys my photographers because I have a deep just love and admiration for all the photo community, and so I hope everybody takes that to heart.
Yeah.
So this photo here is another favorite. I lined them up, man, because it's just one after the other with you, but my editing skills had to come into play here for an hour. This one, tell me about this. This is absolutely gorgeous.
I mean, stuff like this is really interesting because, I mean, obviously incredibly simple light. There was probably just a softbox or something above her, just have her look up. But but a lot of times the simplest setups are the best setups, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you'll notice that in a lot of my work, there are shots that I've used 7 lights, but it's very rare that I use them if I need to use them or if I'm trying to come up with some really great effect or something, But I'm not the kind of person who puts a hair light and strip lights and everything on every single picture and, I'm not into overlighting. In my opinion, as a general rule of thumb, if you can tell that it's been lit or it looks like it's lit, then you've failed, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like that the whole idea of this is to make it look like you haven't lit it at all. I was watching a movie about, listening to a documentary about them shooting Shawshank Redemption. And they were talking about the scenes outside when he first gets off the bus and is entering the prison. And it looks just like, they're outside walking in the thing. And they're talking about the, banks of lights that they had set up just to make it look like it looks normally. It's that kind of thing that kills me. Or the scenes in the cafeteria where they had 45 12,000 watt lights out the windows to light it. It's just unreal kinds of things just to make it look normal.
Did you, Bill, because now it strikes me, and I didn't have this as a question, but now it pops in my head, which I love about doing just general conversations with the photography community all the time, did you ever think about doing movie set work? Because I know it's a very lucrative field.
No, I mean, it's funny because I've been doing stills now for 13 years or something, but I'm definitely, my eye is moving towards moving images. Just because I find it interesting to try to light, and I've been writing and directing and editing and doing a lot of short films lately. So it's definitely a direction I want to go in, but it's union work and all the rest of it.
Yeah, I know.
We're in New York, it's it's not.
You have to be in the Screen Actors Guild.
Exactly.
People forget that. Even that, you have to be. It's very tight ship. And you know what?
And to be in LA in some ways.
Yeah, and I'm really in. Well, it's expanded so much. Brooklyn's become just as big as LA.
True. Brooklyn has become a thing. Yeah.
Brooklyn's doing it, man. Movie style, man. Especially
right
New
down
York.
The street.
No, I know, because years ago when Law and Order, this SVU started, my photos opened the show, Law and Order SVU.
Oh, okay.
Most of those photos are mine, and it's had a 20-year run. I've been honored. But the thing is that I learned a lot about being on the sets with them at times. I got to learn a lot about it by talking to Jerry Orbach, God rest his soul, and other people. Even though Jerry wasn't in the SVU, I used to see him around New York. Sure. And I actually got to know him a little. What a great guy. But
I'm
Anyway,
sure. Yeah.
Edward, a great fan of the show, says, beautiful composition and lighting. I love the way the face is positioned towards the upper left corner. It, in a sense, creates more motion in the direction the subject is looking. We, the viewer, are drawn to what the subject is looking at and thinking. Edward's coming on the show soon. I have to tell you, he's a Leica user and a fantastic photographer.
I got to have all these other people write all my captions. I don't, you know.
You are a very, very humble and beautiful individual, and I have to commend you on that because there's a lot of ego in this industry at times.
Yeah, I've heard that.
But not everybody, some.
Sure.
All my stable of people are all very humble and very level-headed, but there are some. But you know what? A good ego is a healthy thing, but you are by far a very humble man. And as we were doing the social promotion for this week, I hope I didn't put my social media skills and overwhelm you a bit.
You know what it is? I think it's some kind of, you know, I grew up in Connecticut. I think it's like some weird Puritan thing. You know what I mean? Like standing up and saying, I'm fantastic. Here's a sign that says I'm great.
Right.
All of that feels awkward to me. Hey, well, Seth 𝐲𝐤𝐿.
Yes, Seth 𝐲𝐿. I have to tell you, a social media whiz extraordinaire, blogger extraordinaire, everything communications extraordinaire. He is a stylish guy, and I have to tell you, this is a Seth 𝐲𝐿. Check him out, folks. And Seth, I'm going to give you a shout out online later. Hopefully you'll retweet the show for me because I showed this magnificent portrait of you. Tell me about a quick minute about working with Seth.
So I went up to his office. It was up in Westchester somewhere. I forget exactly where, and met him there and went in and we ended up doing a few different shots. And it's interesting because my agent and some other people end up using other shots, but this one is by far my favorite.
Yeah.
And it is a incredibly simple setup. It's a speed light into a 36-inch soft lighter off camera left. I don't think that there was anything filling on the other side or reflector or anything like that. And, right. You know, it's like, I think a 35 millimeter lens. He just sort of, puts his hands like he did and just kind of sat down for a second and snapped a few shots. And I feel like it's a very natural shot. You know, it's both formal and natural at the same time, which is kind of what I like about it. Mm-hmm. And the tones of everything on his skin and
it's really sharp, man.
Yeah,
what was that? That's
question? One of my favorite. Yeah.
What was that question we had? Jonathan from Seshu, I believe. Seshu. Can you show that for a second? He had a question about clients of Bill's. Hi, Bill. Would love to know how you land these awesome clients. Well, that's the secret sauce.
Well, you know, it's interesting. Sometimes I think, yeah, this one was for me. I contacted him and said, I want to come photograph you.
Right.
I mean, since then, a lot of people have used it because people find it and they want to license it for different stuff. But yeah, I mean, sometimes it's like this kind of thing. You know, I have an agent. I have people who see my work and call me. I have clients that I've had for years who call me again and again. I mean, it's same thing as everybody, right?
Right. Well, let me
harder and harder as time goes on, you know.
With this hour that we're spending with you today, and you know, what a way to do a Saturday morning with everything going on. I've been complimenting. You know what? I really love what somebody said to me last week, and it made me feel so good. They say on LinkedIn too. By the way, we're streaming on all 4 platforms now: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn. But I would put LinkedIn at the top of the list because this is where I want photographers like you to be, because showing your work, because I hope that some contacts come out of this for you.
Sure.
That is my goal with this show, not only to educate people, and to have you tell your stories, but to get you more contacts. LinkedIn is the place to be. And let me tell you, when people see this shot and other shots we're going to show on LinkedIn and your opening shots, they need to come contact you because overly impressive, man.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, yeah. It's also interesting, a shot like this where, I mean, for use to say a corporate headshot or something like that. Mm-hmm. A lot of people, this is not the 100% most flattering flat light kind of, you know. So there are a lot of people for whom that would be a problem, but the reality of it is that I think that this gives a much better idea of the person and pulls you in much more than four soft boxes in front of you and one behind you as the shooter kind of look is going to get you.
But so much of it also depends, at least in my opinion. You're the portrait pro, so I'll let you have the last word. But what I will say is that it's really for three things. One is comfort with the subject.
Sure.
Two is, of course, the environment you're in. And three is bringing, and once they have that comfort level, the right pose, the right selection of the one to put out there. And this, in my opinion, would be the one.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, so many ways to go with that comment. Sorry. One is that, there's a lot of times that, like, I don't generally pose people. I will go in and I will try to get people comfortable enough to sit like they would want to sit,
Right.
And of course you always get that moment where you say, okay, we're done. And they relax and they sit back and they go like this and you go, no, don't move. That's it. That's what I've been looking for the last 45 minutes, but it's only after the fact that they end up getting like that.
Right.
But the flip side of that, like you were saying though, is that not only I have to be comfortable, but in reality, I just need to make them think that I'm comfortable because that's where it comes down to. Because if I seem like I'm level-headed and fine, they're going to think everything's fine.
Yeah.
And, you do research about the people a little bit beforehand and you find out, oh, this person went to school for psychology, but they ended up being a CEO of some company. It's just like, how did you go from, psychology to whatever? You were the whatever in your chess team. Like, let's talk chess.
Well,
and that kind of stuff. It's better than the weather. It's better than, just talking about small talk.
Right.
And then they stop thinking about what's going on, which is them getting their picture taken if they're nervous.
The same thing
Start
applies
relaxing.
to a great job interview, believe it or not.
Sure, absolutely.
I read a long time ago, a great person who's doing the interview will ask a candidate something really great and something really different rather than asking them the same standard questions all the time. Because don't you want to learn more about that person who's going to work for you as opposed to just the stuff that is spelled out literally on their resume?
It's funny. I went to University of Connecticut for 2 years before I went to Berklee College of Music. And when I got to Berklee, I wanted to be in the production department, and you have to apply to be in the production department. This is all to go back to your story right there.
Right.
And the guy who was interviewing me, Stephen Weber, who's now my friend who I've had dinner with in the last year, sat down and he opened up my thing and he sees that I took some dinosaur class. He's like, oh, you took the age of dinosaurs when you were a kid. He said, tell me something about dinosaurs I don't know. And I gave him an answer and he closed the thing and he put it down. He goes, all right, you're in. Because it was just about making sure people weren't a jerk is basically what it is.
Yeah, and also that you're not living in this like cubicle, you're well-rounded, you have something to contribute. So all of that goes into everything you do and life in general. But man, I want some of these hanging on my wall and I don't even know these people.
Stefan, do you have the picture of, by chance, of the woman on the rocks in the water? It's like the first picture on my site.
I do. If you want me to scoot
can you pull that up just a quick thing?
Because
I was going to tell a quick story about
I'm not going to give everybody motion sickness, but I did pull the clip because, first of all, let me say a shout out to one of my favorite aquariums in the world, the Monterey Bay Aquarium. I've been there. We went there 3 years ago with my family, my wife and our son. And let me tell you something. I love that aquarium.
Oh, it's absolutely beautiful. And Julie here is actually the son. Is it David Packard of Hewlett Packard? Is that, I forget which Packard it is.
So the daughter, you mean?
I'm sorry. Yeah, she's the daughter of David Packard. And and they're all worth literally billions of dollars. All these kids, and all four of them have careers and run businesses. They could be sitting around eating, peeled grapes, but they don't. They do stuff. She runs the aquarium. But the reason I bring it up is that we were taking this picture, and actually Nick Curry was helping me out on this shoot.
Oh, wow.
I was in town, which is how we met originally.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago. And we're out there, and I said, would you go out on the rocks with me? And she says, sure. So she's on a rock, I'm on a rock, and Nick's on a rock with a light to camera left, right? So there's like this big 60-something inch soft lighter in a big battery powered strobe. But the reason I bring it up is that I was going to be out on these rocks and I knew I wouldn't be able to hand anything to anybody. And I use prime lenses.
Right.
So I have two that I usually use. I use a 35 and a 55 on this Pentax medium format that I use. Yeah. And I took off because I knew I couldn't be fumbling with lens caps while standing on a rock. I took the lens cap off and I stuck it in my pocket so I could just switch them easily, right?
Yeah, right.
But as I'm waiting for her to come down, I'm walking around, hopping between rocks, trying to find good angles and stuff. And a rogue wave comes and splashes me and gets salt water in a, $1,500 lens.
Yikes.
But the reason I bring it up is that I'm taking pictures of this woman. I have an hour with her, or whatever it is.
Right.
And now I've lost one of my tools. Now I have to shoot the entire thing wide angle because I don't have a normal lens.
Right.
Because one hit me. But I can't I can't seem like I'm panicking.
Of course, never let them see you sweat, man.
Right, exactly. And so there are situations like this where part of my job is to know that basically I just threw away the money I was making shooting this picture probably to repair the lens. But that, you have to just kind of go on and get what you can get. Now, luckily, when you have a 50 megapixel big giant sensor, you can crop and stuff. So even with wide angle, you can get what you need. But there are situations where that kind of stuff happens. Sorry.
We're going to explore a couple more. I got some goodies for you. But, beautiful work here. And like I said, thankful for people like her who, although they have all the money in the world,
she's great.
That they do so much for the environment, and check out the Monterey Bay Aquarium and check out Julie Packard. The name Hewlett Packard. Packard is right there. So thank you, Julie, for all you do. And I hope to meet you one day and learn more about you. So, and shout out to all the aquariums that do so much for the environment. Thank you for all you do. So let me scoot back quick. See, I know where the photos are, man. So this photo means a lot to me, and it just really speaks to me because I went to a French school for many years with many students and diplomats, sons and daughters from throughout Africa and Haiti and everywhere else. And I've always been in love with the cultures, the clothing, the food, the beautiful, beautiful people from all over. And this photo is just stunning.
Yeah, I do. I'm 90%. I think it was Nigeria he was from.
Yeah, stunning.
And he had this because he had the outfit because either he wore it to his wedding or he had to wear it for somebody else's wedding because it's like a traditional thing.
Right.
And he came in and we shot a bunch of stuff, and then I had him put that on. I said, okay, this is sometimes if there's just something special that's going on, there's two things. I mean, obviously he's a really cool looking subject,
right? Plus
the outfit. Plus, I don't normally gel lenses or gel lights all that often, but this one I did. Right. So that adds a little bit of something. Because if it was all just one thing, I'm not sure it was, it wouldn't be quite as polished, I think, without the color of the lights. Right. But right. And it was also interesting. I added in post. There's like a haze over this picture. I don't know if it's almost like fungus growing in from the edges. Because I needed to age it a little bit. Because if it's just straight black background with him in the front, there was just something missing. There was like a dimensionality, a depth that I was missing. Right. Well, so I just added another layer on the top.
Well, that's the one thing, folks, that we're going to explore with Bill in just a second is his unique vision and also his mad skills, as the youngins would say, about, Photoshop and everything else. But with him, it's not just playing around with Instagram filters, folks. It is the real deal of knowing Photoshop like the back of your hand and using it the way professionals use it. No dissing Instagram and filters, but there's a time and place for everything, and Bill's work is not it.
As I recall, a few years ago, Adobe changed a couple of the keyboard commands, and everyone was like, what are you doing? You don't change Photoshop keyboard commands?
Right. Oh, Daniel Glickman's in the house of StreamYard. By the way, folks, this is the platform of choice for me and many professionals around the world. StreamYard has changed my life. It helped me in this pandemic take my passion for what I'm doing and bringing it to everybody around the world every week on all 4 platforms now to let you know about these great photographers. Shout out to Daniel Glickman, a great, great marketing expert, and now with StreamYard. Congratulations and tip of the hat to you, Daniel. So one of the things I want to get to these too, but this Man, let me tell you, I want this one. Okay, we're gonna have to talk business here because I may have to purchase this one from you. I don't even know this messenger, and I love messengers in general because they're a real piece of work out there. They work so hard and they're so unique. But this is a fantastic photograph.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. God, if I can't remember his name, this is, you're going back 11 years now. The guy had a really cool name. Anyway, the cool thing about this shot is that I don't know, how did I meet him? Somebody recommended him to me, or I met him somewhere. I said, would you be in this series I'm doing? He's like, yeah, sure. And he brought his skateboard. And then I had done a picture the day before, I think, involving rope. So I brought the rope and I was like, let's do a thing where we don't, sort of ambiguous whether you're bringing flowers to a woman or going to tie them up. Because there's the next picture in the series actually is a woman tied to railroad tracks, like old school thing. So, and he's like, so you basically want me to be Snidely Whiplash? And I said, yes. And he said, oh, he's like, yes, I can do that.
No, I love it. I love it. Daniel, I'm not too kind. You are a incredible professional out there in this field. And it's an honor and a pleasure to know you. Plus, I love your hair, man. I got to dye my hair a little, man. You got it going on. So anyway, that's what the pandemic did to Daniel. He dyed his hair because he was so bored with the pandemic.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, getting to this, so I love it, and I'm an old skateboarder. I grew up skateboarding in Washington Square Park, and I had an Alva board and everything else. So Edward says, a determined man with a mission on his skateboard, and that stare. It is the stare, you know?
Yeah, he's going in one direction.
Yeah, he belongs in a Harry Potter movie, man.
Yeah, I should have done a wider shot that showed two friends of mine who came and met me with this guy who were holding strobes on either side of him,
Right. But, I want to get to a couple of other we're going to go back and check some of these. One of the things I wanted to bring up real quick was,
Aw, Ian.
Yeah, I saw this and I had it in a slideshow, but I just love the way you use the roof of the Tate Modern in the UK and London, and also the look on his face, the clouds. This is where doing an outdoor portrait is so different from indoors because you have to balance everything. But tell us quickly about working with Ian.
Well, Ian's a good friend of mine. And actually, I was in London for a job, and I ended up saying, well, the heck with it. If I'm going to London, I have friends in London. I used to date a woman in London for years. So I was like, oh, I'll go to London. I'll spend a week there. If I got to be there for a half an hour for a shoot, I might as well be there for 5 days and spend some time. And so I met up with Ian and we spent the whole day together and ended up, he and I and his lady friend ended up at the Tate Modern. We were up on the roof and I said, Ian, I got to take a picture of you I got to do today's portrait. Cause I was at the time, it was 2017, 18 and 19. I was doing my daily portraits. So you can see those at Wadman 365 on Instagram. You can look at those. Yeah.
Okay. Check that out. Say it again on that one. I didn't put that one up
there. It's Wadman 365.
Wadman WADMAN 365, folks. Check that out on Instagram as well.
So you can look at all of them. So it's 1,095 portraits in the same amount of days. So
you know what?
Different person every single day.
They missed that Instagram. I knew about the handle and I checked it out, but I forgot to put it in the caption here.
No, it's fine. So Ian and I had met years earlier through my friend Craig Ward, who's like a world-class graphic designer, as is Ian. Ian's designed all these crazy album covers. I mean, this guy is like super famous.
Well, he's big on pixels,
Yeah, absolutely. He does. He like makes things. He sort of makes art with pieces, but they're usually physical. So it's like he'll put things in a pinboard, or he did the paper something, the TI album with all the the sheets of paper making his face. That's Ian's, and it's huge. I've actually seen it in real life. It's 4 by 4 feet.
Let me tell you something. One of the things I ask you, and I don't, because everybody's so busy. So hold on a second. Adebumi Adiabi. Excuse me if I did not pronounce it right. Holly Kaufman's soul. Wow. Text this man on this number. He got, oh no. Okay. We got spammed there.
Spammed.
Jonathan, we got spammed, man. So anyway.
They'll take care of it. You were saying, sorry.
That, folks. We don't put spam up, but it happens. There's a lot of captions coming in. So let's get her off the screen and not give her any more attention than she needs. Okay. So that may have been just an oversight. So I'm sure it was. So anyway, Holly Kaufman's soul. Yep, we're being spammed. Okay. But I was getting to the fact about Ian. I I read the caption that you put in about him in your Instagram handle, and it
Yeah.
really just captured my heart. And I know that we're all busy. Nobody can catch every episode of the Spin It Social Hour,
Sure.
although I'd love you to. But there's a rainy day, so hopefully you'll catch up on them. But you need to watch them a little more, Bill, because you know what? I don't like just stories. I have to bring people to real life, man.
Ian Wright.
Hello.
Hi, Ian. How are you, sir?
I'm very well. We meet again. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent,
I love that. Look,
excellent.
your beard
Very
is out of
happy.
control, Ian. I love it.
Yes, lockdown. Blame the lockdown.
Well, anyway, I saw the caption about Ian. I emailed him right away, and I said, Ian, bless your heart. I would love to have you on this show because Bill wrote such a beautiful caption about you. I said, you're the one that I want to surprise him with this week. I love
Ian is one of my favorite people in the whole world.
Yeah, well,
Like,
you're
bar none.
too.
I did it. I love it. I love surprises. It's one of my biggest things. Somebody threw me a surprise party as a kid. So,
Ian, how do you feel about having your picture taken in general?
You know, you make it easy because you're almost invisible doing it.
All right, I'll take
I
that.
almost don't recognize it enough because you're really low key. Well, you're low key with me doing it. And then sometimes we're at lunch because we're the blokes who lunch. We became blokes who lunch.
Yes.
And we have these brilliant conversations that spiral off into other places. And yeah, Bill sometimes snaps and I'm not even aware of it, really.
right.
You know, okay, there's been a couple of more formal ones, but really he's just low key. And I mean, I'm not so keen on having my picture taken either. Really.
Literally us at lunch right there. That one.
Ian, I love this one. This is just so comfortable for the camera here. It's just
That's back at Lasso when it was still around.
That's right. Yeah, I remember it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have one more that I snagged of you too, which is this.
Oh, I like that one.
Oh, yeah, I like that one. That one.
Although Ian looks scary and mean there. Although I just liked it because he's so serious and it shows a bunch of his, like his work and stuff that inspires him behind him, which is, there's an entire meme thing on the internet called, crazy walls, scenes in movies where everyone has the stuff with stuff connected.
Right.
And Ian actually has these things. And it's like, I just imagine, Ian, that this is what it feels like inside of your brain. You know what it feels like inside your brain?
Worse. Yeah.
Well, let's make sure that everybody knows that Ian's handle on Instagram, folks, in the UK and worldwide, of course, is Mr. Ian W. Check him out. His work is amazing. I love your work, Ian. I'm so happy to be connected with you. Edward says, Ian's portrait is wonderful. We can all see in him deep thought with curiosity and looking up. And this off-center composition with the building and sky works beautifully. Exactly. See, that's what caught me about this is the way Bill used the angle of the roof of the Tate Modern. Didn't go for the dead-on shot, but the way the sky cuts half the screen, half the picture off, and the other half is the Tate Modern, and then you looking up is the perfect picture.
Feels like a composite, that picture.
It does. It does. It does. And speaking of composite,
you're very playful as well, aren't you? You play with intent though, and that's one thing. You never make it. I'm always aware of you being a photographer, but it's not kind of how I know you in a way.
Yeah,
I know you as a mate who takes beautiful photographs, and he's really accomplished. But I don't. It's with it, and then we have stories, and you're really good at storytelling.
Yeah,
it's quite low key how you work it. You're not a show off about it.
I always it's the thing about, I mean, you're my friend, so we're like that anyway. But even with regular people that I'm photographing, it's like, it's not about us taking the pictures. It's just us trying to get to know each other. I mean, I think that's because everybody's a person, right? I mean, no matter who you meet, like I've shot literally thousands of people, and I think there have been 2 of them I didn't get along with really well. Right. You know what I mean? And it's probably had nothing to do with me. They probably got a fight with their spouse or something.
It's all to do with you. But that's what's really interesting. It's how do you become really solid friends? And we're not really in touch with each other just through just like Instagram.
Yeah.
But we know that when you came to London, it was just like,
I see Ian, and when Ian comes here, he's here. It's I have a lot of people in the world who are like that, and it's kind of one of my. If I was going to die tomorrow, it would be the thing I'm most proud of, is the fact that I feel like I have very close friends that I don't see that often.
That's why
you fall right back into it the minute you see each other.
That's why I wanted to bring Ian on today, to surprise you and make you happy that way.
Thank you so much. That does make me happy.
You're welcome. Yeah. One thing I want to say Ian said, and then we're going to have to move on here, is that, Ian, you could stay on the screen right there, please.
You give more space to him.
Okay.
Listen, I'm here anyway.
But one of the things I want to say is that Ian said something very beautiful yesterday about you in our emails back and forth, and then I brought him on to tech test him to make sure all the connections were right, is that you're like a secret weapon, because, you're this humble photographer, but yet you photograph so many people around the world and things like that. But, your skills are bar none awesome.
Oh, thank you.
True.
So I'm going to move on a bit here with things, but everybody,
we'll see you soon.
Nice to see you.
Thank you so much. Love you, Ian. We'll see you soon.
Thank you so much, man. What a great moment. Wonderful to have you on the Spin It Social Hour. And I'll stay in touch with you, okay?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, please check out his Instagram, everybody, Mr. Ian W. Bye-bye.
Monster. See ya.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye. Cheers.
Bye.
And best of luck to everybody in the UK. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. Okay. So anyway,
thank you. That was lovely.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. It's my pleasure. It's one of my favorite things to do. Is all that kind of communications and network stuff. So let's talk here quickly about some of the conceptual work that you do. But I want to switch modes for 1 second and quickly show something that I think everybody's going to get a kick out of, because I want everybody on LinkedIn and everywhere out there, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, who want to hire you, to know that you also do a lot of video work. And I wanted to show something real quick because I think this is absolutely magnificent. So I'm going to mute myself for a second.
All right. Gifford's the best.
The reason I'm going to unmute that, I didn't show the whole clip. First of all, it's a minute and a half, so we want to move on to your other work. But I wanted to give people a quick taste of your video work. That is so fun.
Thank you.
But also, there's also always these small music things. Oh, this light is coming in here strong this morning. One of the things with Facebook and other things is you don't want to go too long on music, even though that's just generic.
It's actually, I wrote it, so you can use it all you want.
Oh, yeah, but if they don't know that, and the algorithm doesn't know that. So
sure.
I don't want to play with them. So they're notorious for things, but I think they'll be good with it. You better be, Facebook. Don't mess with me, man.
I don't think it's ever been published anywhere else, so I think
don't mess with Bill's work.
Yeah, exactly.
But check out Bill's work on his website, which is coming up here once again at billwadman.com, and check out his video work. Amazing stuff that he could do for corporations, for individuals, for any brand. Great storytelling by Bill. But let's bring up some of the work again. I have to go back here through my screen share. And let me go back to your slides. And here we go. So this, I feel, is everybody in life these days. Everybody's multitasking, and this is where it's at.
And especially Dan Gottesman, whose photo this is. Yeah, Dan is one of my best friends, and has teched and assisted for me over the years, but himself is just incredible at everything. He was an Apple genius back in the early days of the Apple Store. He shoots. He's this crazy bike guy. He builds things. He podcasts. We had circuitous conversations with Bill and Dan for 100 and something episodes, and
Right.
Dan did another Q&A show with me, Ask Bill and Dan. Dan's like the guy that I call when I have a technical question.
Okay.
And everyone calls me when they have technical questions, and when I have them, I call Dan.
Well, that's a great portrait, and I love the conceptual work with it. It's just so, it speaks about life these days, and he looks like a great guy. He looks like a great guy. I could see why you would have so much fun with him doing this. But I want to also give a shout out to your wife.
Yes, that is my wife, Heather.
And I want to give a shout out to your dad's car.
Yeah, my father's old car. Yeah. My father passed away in 2005, and my mother was still living at the house. And so Heather and I were up there visiting. I said, she was about to sell the car. I said, we got to do something in the car. I was like, did you bring anything with you? Do you have a dress from work or something? And she's like, yeah. And in fact, I shot this with a 28 millimeter lens on my old Canon.
Right.
And, put a strobe on either side of the car, as you can see, whatever it is. It makes you feel like, I don't know, she's at a drive-in or something, right? But
it's gorgeous.
It was because of this picture that I did my entire Drabble series.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
This is sort of the proto Drabble, where I shot this and thought, oh, I'd love to do a whole series of stuff that are these crazy stories that you don't even really know what's going on.
Well, that's, I had so much fun going through your work. I mean, this is like just so cool. I mean, you think about life these days and it can be upside down, but it can also be sideways.
Yeah, exactly. And, this guy came and I was supposed to take his picture. And I had all set up. I knew what I was going to do this crazy composite. And so I had lights set up to match the sun and, put up a big octobox or whatever. And he walks in and he's 6'7".
Whoa.
And I was like,
really?
Yeah. I was like, whoa. And I'm 6'1". There aren't that many people that I look up at. It's like this guy. And one time I shot Terry Waite, who was a hostage in Lebanon for years.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
And I photographed him once, and I shook his hand, and it was like a little kid shaking like an adult hand. I was like, "You are a monstrous man! Like,
wow.
How the heck did they keep you down? You know what I mean?" Anyway, long story short, this guy walks in, and I had to push all of my lights up because the entire lighting setup had to move. Because he was just way bigger.
Well, I'm going to move through a few of these.
There's a Drabble that's actually on the fire escape. I can look at that fire escape right now out that window.
Yeah, no, it's gorgeous.
Although, real quick thing interesting about this, the original shot was going to be me shooting from the window that you can see there on the right that the fire escape exit onto. And I shot and I thought, oh, I need to add a light behind her. So I went to go to this other window that can see out and add a light behind her. And the minute I put up the light, I go, no, this is completely wrong. I need to shoot from this angle. This is what I need to do. And so I shot through a window to get this shot.
Well, that's why, whatever it takes, right, to get the money shot, you know. And that's another, gorgeous shot there. I love all of this with the photographer, the dancers. I love your dancers' work. I absolutely. There are also a lot of the black and white and other work you've done on some nudes and the human body is just, the human body is just such a beautiful thing. And she's obviously just, so comfortable with you doing this portrait. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah. She's a personal trainer, so it helps.
She is definitely, an amazing.
That one. I mean, you look at it and you just look at her body and you think, God, it looks like one of those Michelangelo sketches.
It does. That's exactly what it reminded me of. Exactly. Yeah. So one of the things I want to do real quick is bring on my co-producer to acknowledge his great work behind the scenes, Jonathan Borstein. Everybody, Jonathan, a bit about yourself.
I am a full-time flaneur, a sometime writer, and part-time tech.
Okay.
And I have a question for Bill.
There you go.
Which is, many of your photographs have a painterly quality. What painters have influenced your work?
People always ask me that, and I have stock answers. It's Caravaggio and John Singer Sargent. In fact, I have a on my wall right here. I have one of my favorite John Singer Sargent paintings. I keep on my wall to remind me to do that. It's interesting though, because I mean, with paint, especially with somebody like Sargent, you can have the faces be very, very detailed, and then the clothes be very sketchy, you know what I mean? With the way he would do stuff with a knife. And a lot of times I really want to get that, and I can't in photography. And I've always tried, I mean, it's like sort of like this detail and not detail thing that I've always tried to pull out, but lighting wise and that kind of stuff, yeah, I'd love to make things look like a painting. And usually it's Caravaggio and Sargent, just because they're the people that I travel around the world to see their work, you know?
Well, you certainly do that with the dancers' work, and it's just gorgeous work.
That's the whole Taylor company right there.
I'm going to leave Jonathan on here with us because he's doing such a magnificent job of fielding all the comments, dealing with all the driving the car behind the scenes, as I call it. And I love his glasses as always. So, and I love Jonathan.
You guys do this as well.
He is my amigo.
As far as driving the car goes, I'm trying to figure out where the ejector seat button is.
But
ejected.
The dancers' photos are just magnificent. Dancers are a joy to work with because they're so well, such trained professionals, and they know how to do things on mark, but they also know how to pose.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. A lot of times, though, with dancers, they know how to move, but they don't necessarily feel comfortable standing still, which is a really interesting thing with them. In fact, if do you have any of the motion pictures?
Oh,
by
absolutely.
Chance?
First of all, a shout out to this dance troupe. I'll let you announce it.
Oh, that's the Paul Taylor Dance Company.
Absolutely.
I mean, or most of them are. I mean, it's there's a few more of them that.
Well, shout out to the Paul Taylor Dance Company.
I mean, they're one of the biggest, best modern dance companies in the world. They're crazy, and I am lucky beyond stars to end up being friends with most of them now.
Absolutely.
So here's an example of a picture of Michael Chuznebeck, and it's interesting because in these motion pictures that everyone always sees of mine that they like, the parts you see the dancer is when they're sitting still for a beat. It's like a 3-4 second exposure. So it's when he's standing up there for half a second before he moves that he actually looks still, which is the inverse of what it normally is. Normally, the more they move, the more you notice them. But the reality of it is backwards. Yeah.
This one is my apps. I went digging for this one. I found this somewhere way back on your Instagram.
Yeah, I think it's 𝐏𝐤𝐜. Yeah. I adore this one. This is what it's all about, with a really long exposure and using the body the way you did. This is on the money. Oh, thank you. Yeah. I mean, again, you get these dancers over and it's just fun.
Yeah.
It's like you can really play with them because they're willing to do anything, and you try anything, and you just set up lights and almost everything looks good. It's like working with models,
Yeah, look at this. I mean, everybody check out Bill on his website. Check out his motion section on dancers. This was featured in many places, including the Huffington Post, big spread ones. But like I said, I love all of them. That would be my choice right there.
All right, we'll get you.
But you also use some of these brilliant work of yours. Somebody actually used it for an ad for Drink Up.
Well, actually, we shot those after the fact for them.
Okay.
We set up in a studio for I think 3 days.
Okay.
To shoot a bunch of these. There was this one of the woman dancing. There's one of a woman on a treadmill. There's a guy playing soccer. They saw those motion images and wanted to hire us to basically do that.
You hear those key words, right, everybody? Hire us. Hire Bill.
The really interesting thing about these is that we got hired, and then it's like I had to recreate something I had done 11 years prior.
Right.
To like a modern version of it. So I was like, oh, well, this is going to be interesting. But it worked out.
Portrait photography is an amazing thing. I don't know why. I just had a quick thought back working with some people who have also mad Photoshop skills and everything else. But it's all of your skills combined that make you so special,
Thank you.
So I want to move on here to a few other conceptual work just to show quickly because we have little time left.
Yep.
But this is some of the steps, let me show everybody, that went into something like this. So here they are, bill and subject, and then we'll go from this to a nice day in the park to a living room, a beautiful
with some dirt on his floor.
Yeah. Oh, look at that, man. Oh, I wish I had a place like that, man.
Yeah,
Gorgeous.
it's a beautiful apartment.
And then only brownstones in Brooklyn and Harlem. I tell you, man, unbelievable, gorgeous. And then there you go with the final product. Look at what Bill did here. We went from this to this to this to boom. Look at that. I mean, absolutely gorgeous.
The trick with this one is two things. One, I had to put the dirt on the real floor because the hardest part is the transition, right? Getting from dirt to floor.
Sure.
Well, let's do that for real.
Right.
And then the other thing is getting all the reflections and shadows. So like putting the shadow of him over on the wall on the left, getting the reflection in the wind on the picture on the right.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that it has this reality to it.
That is the one thing that I missed in the whole photo, and I apologize for that. That is actually gorgeous that you were able to get the reflection of the tree placed perfectly in that picture frame.
Yeah, I mean it's those things, and the more you do composites like this, the more you sort of notice those things, or you look back and you go, "Oh shoot, I forgot there should be a shadow here." And it's a lot of times it's those little tiny things. Like if you hadn't done that in that window, in that picture frame on the glass,
right?
Something about it would feel like this looks fake, and of course it is fake, and you can know it's fake,
right?
But like that's the kind of thing that adds reality to compositing.
Well, that's one thing that I'll say quickly is that that's where being obsessive compulsive can be a good thing.
yeah, but you always miss something, and you go back and you go, and you want to go change something.
Well, let's show this theory real quick here. The water tower. Here you have. My
friend's parents had this water tower up on their roof, and we were going to just shoot on a roof. And then she showed me there were pictures of water towers. I was like, I want to use a water tower. Yeah. But wait, can you go back one quick thing? Sure. You can see that there's this lock. There's this box down at the bottom of the right. So actually, if you go to the next one, it's there too. So that goes up 6 feet or whatever. So you can't climb the ladder. So we had to boost her up.
Oh, bye.
And she ended up cutting her leg. And in some of the pictures, you could see blood dripping down her leg.
Oh Lord!
In some of the originals, and then my friend Dan, who had that I showed with all the different arms, he's holding this strobe up. However, 15 feet in the air, you can actually see his hand down there.
Oh yeah, that
way up top to match where the moon will be.
That is high up there. But and then of course the cityscape.
I take it. Yeah, that's a cityscape just from the roof. That's the scene.
And then drum roll, please, everybody. Boom.
Yeah, put it all together. Yeah.
Look at
I like the idea of the moon being close enough to touch. That was the whole idea.
You know what? This belongs in a Disney still.
Yeah, I'll take that. I mean, that's the kind of that. I mean, I'd love to do that kind of work. And a lot of times it comes down to, I mean, not for nothing, but like time and budget and money that's what you need to do a lot of this stuff,
Right. Well, I also want to encourage you to do more of your own personal work, Bill, because I found a couple of goodies here that I had to show that I want you to also keep doing your own personal passion.
You want me to shoot more on with my phone?
You know what? Whatever it takes. This is gorgeous, man.
Oh, thanks.
This is something I could look at for hours because
it's funny. I don't even remember taking that picture. That's my Instagram.
It's somewhere. I found it on your Instagram. I go digging, man.
Okay.
This is gorgeous because it really reminds me of a peaceful moment that I could stare at for hours. I love snow and I love the mystique of it. It's magical,
Yeah.
But being a New Yorker that I am, and having grown up in New York in its heyday and everything else, and I love subway photos, man, this is like as noir as you get for the New York City subway.
Yeah, I mean, every once in a while I catch something, you see something and you take out your phone or your camera and take a shot of it. In general, street photography doesn't, I don't know, it's a lot of waiting. You know what I mean? It's a lot of waiting and trying to see stuff, and I prefer to make decisions and control the thing that I'm trying to make as opposed to standing there waiting for it to happen. But yeah.
Well, you know what? I told you I was going to keep it tight for you because I know you have a hard stop at 10:59. It's 10:58. How did I do?
You did good. You have 59 seconds. Yeah,
I do. So with those 59 seconds, I want to say a big thank you for being here today with us.
You're very welcome.
I wanted to also make sure everybody checks you out at Bill Wadman on Instagram and Twitter, and BillWadman.com, and also 365.
Oh, Wadman 365.
Wadman
Yeah.
365.
That series is done, but if you want to go look back on them,
Check
they're
it out,
all
though,
there.
man. So hopefully you'll have a print sale for the holidays, folks. Let's get Bill some business here for his beautiful, magnificent work. Get to know him better, most of all, as a human being and as a great photographer. Tell people about him. Share this live stream so everybody knows more about Bill. And let's all give him a big pound it for being here and being on the screen with us. Normally I do this off the screen, but you have to go and run. So we're going to do it right now. Let's hold on a second. Let me go back one shot. And then I know you got to run to something great like this. And let me do a quick screen grab, folks. This usually goes on behind the scenes, but we're going to do one more right here to get Bill. So I have this. All right, here we go. Bill, nice smile. All right. Hey, listen, thank you so much for being here.
No problem. Thank you, Stephen.
And learn more about Bill. Jonathan,
thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you. We're going to go on to some post-promotion. Bill, you have a great weekend, okay?
All right. We'll see you guys soon.
All right. Take care now.
Right.
Bye-bye. Thanks. Bye-bye. All right, folks. So that was Bill Wadman. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen here. Jonathan, thank you. I'm going to be right back. So we're going to do some little promotion work here. Please stay with me for a couple of seconds, folks, because this is important stuff that I want to share with you. And hold on one second, and I'm going to say goodbye to Ian behind the scenes after 2. I am going to go right here, and I am going to tell you about next week's show. By the way, before I do that, everybody needs to become a better photographer, because I am wearing Mediascope's Be More and this is Chitachi, Dr. Tachi from Mediascope. Check her out online at Mediascope. Be More right here. I love this shirt, Tachi. Thank you for the gift. And I am going to be more of a better live streamer because of you and this shirt. So anyway, but next week's show, folks, is the Spin It Social Hour on Saturday, November 7th with Marge Kleinman from Brooklyn, another Brooklynite, Brooklyn in the house. And Stoop Stories is in the house. She has been written up in the New York Times lately and many other things for her pandemic work on people sitting and telling their stories and many other things about their lives on stoops in Brooklyn, New York. And a shout out to my friend Julia L. Weeks on Instagram. Check her out, an AP photo editor who put me in touch with Marge and had her on her show, Brooklyn Navy Yard Neighbor. Check them out, and thank you, Julia, for putting me in touch with Marge. It's going to be a fascinating show with Marge next week. Tune in on all platforms and now streaming on LinkedIn. And then I'm going to tell you about my colleague and dear friend Sri Srinivasa on Sunday NYT Read Along tomorrow, November 1st. Wow, November 1st. Oh boy, Tuesday's the election. Hold on to your seats, folks, and vote. And by the way, it's Halloween, so I want to make sure. Let me take this off for a second. First stream, I'm going to put that back. I want everybody to be wearing their masks on Halloween, and I mean this mask. Please, folks, mask up. This is my FIT mask where I teach. They sent this to me. Shout out to FIT and thank you. But please, mask up. This is the mask that everybody should be concerned about on Halloween. Listen to the experts. Let's get through this pandemic together. Let's save lives. And let's be friends to each other that are helping the world at large. Stop listening to all this craziness out there and wear your masks. And yeah, I called people out on that one. All right. So tomorrow, Sri Sunday NYT Read Along with my ex-colleague and New York Times legend, Jim Roberts, publisher-in-chief now and strategy officer of the 74, former editor-in-chief of Cheddar, and longtime editor, as I said, at the New York Times. With me there, Jim Roberts. Please tune in and become part of the NYT Read Along family, where every Sunday we all read the New York Times along with Sri and Neil Parekh, the executive producer, who's done an amazing job over 5 years bringing the read along to life for everybody. We read the New York Times like a bunch of crazy people every Sunday, and it's fascinating and fun. So tune in. And then finally, one last thing. is She's on Call, the show to watch with two of my favorite doctors, Dr. Sujana and Dr. Marina. Love them both, and they both bring on great doctors every week and talk about life during the pandemic and many other health issues. A great medical show now online, produced by DigiMentors, and it is an honor always to work with DigiMentors and Sri Srinivasan and his group, as well as doing my own thing with Spin It Social. So please look to hire me as well for many, many things, social media related, live stream related. And I hope you've enjoyed another hour of the Spin It Social Hour and learn about social media with Sri's Muck Rack Academy, Fundamentals of Social Media. I had a great time producing this show with Sri and my colleague Linda Bernstein, also one of the big people that we have with us on DigiMentors. Muck Rack's free course, free on-demand certification course. Print out your certificate, put it on your LinkedIn profile. This will make you stand out. The fundamentals of social media. So folks, I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to say thank you. I'm going to say be well. And remember, I don't care how much time I spend doing this, remember to mask up and wear your masks this Halloween and protect everybody out there. Tune in next week for the Spin It Social Hour with Marge Kleiman and Stoop Stories. Be well, everybody. Take care. Thank you very much.